All right, we're going to get started in a seat. So our normal, if you'd like to sit on props, you can bring those into your space. And today we're going to be focusing on the throat chakra. So let's bring our hands to the throat. And I want to offer a specific hand position for this. So if you bring your wrists together and then your pinky fingers and your thumb to make this kind of lotus position, and then bring it right under your chin so that the heel of the hand can sit into the little crease at the middle of the clavicles, and then the fingers can reach up towards the ears. So you can gently place the fingers around the throat and the jaw. So I like this position as an invitation to sense the connection of our lower body to our head. So this chakra is our place of communication, right? The place where our voice comes from, as well as the place where we listen. So the ears are also part of this energy center. So clear communication comes when we can connect our thoughts, our mind to our body, our sensations and our feelings, so that we can be honest and truthful, to be able to speak our opinions and listen to others. So be able to learn and adapt through that communication as well. So you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable here, or just soften your vision out in front of you and start to turn towards the breath and really focus on the sensation of the breath through the throat. So see if you can sense the air coming in, maybe what temperature it is, and then the air leaving the lungs as it comes back up. Breathing in and out through the nose if you feel comfortable with that. Starting to slow down the breath. And let this region under your hands be really soft. So you can already start to relax the jaw, separate the back teeth from one another. And give a swallow down the throat and then relax the tongue. Relax the lips. All the way into the inner ear. So our intention throughout class as we notice this area of the body is to turn towards being able to express ourselves and doing so honestly with truth. So that might be listening to what your body needs, maybe making specific choices that are best for you about how fast you want to go today, or any other kind of variations that you need to take. This can also be just letting your breath be free. So this is also a place of creativity as we come to express ourselves in communication. Let's lower the hands down to the clavicles now, so that we can find this space right under this line that's kind of separating our heart from our throat. And press your palms down into the top of your chest. So I just want us to kind of glue down to start stretching the fascia, the connective tissue that really gets all the way up into the front of the neck here. Drop the chin to the chest and then roll the head right ear to right shoulder. Gently pull down with the left hand in opposition. Breathe into the side of the neck. And then gently drop the nose down to the chest again, rolling through center, and go the other direction. This time dragging the top of the head away from the right hand, stretching all the way down the front of the chest. Unclench the teeth if they are sealed together. Let's go back and forth a couple times. So you can exhale as you drop the chin and inhale as the head comes out to the side. Let the shoulders roll down the back. Finish up to the left. Let the chin come back down to the chest. And then gently lift the head through center. Come onto your hands and knees so that you can find your wrists under your shoulders, knees under hips. And then if you feel comfortable flipping your wrists, flip just the right wrist so the fingers swim behind so that one hand is reaching forward, the other is reaching back, but the wrists are still in the same plane. So there's one line underneath the clavicles. With that flipped wrist, feel like the rotation in the arm helps open the chest a little bit more. We're going to do a couple cat-cows here. So pressing down into the palms. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, pull the heart through, rolling those shoulders back. Exhale as you curl under. Keep moving with your breath. And notice how your neck moves here. So in our cat-cow, the neck is really responding to the initiation in the core, the pressing down through the limbs. But how can it feel really free? Let it be mobile. Notice how far you can move it in a comfortable way. So maybe tucking the chin a little bit further as you curl under, stretching the back of the neck. And then as you look forward, opening the collarbones to make space in the throat. Good, come back to your neutral spine, flip the right fingers forward and flip the left fingers back. If you're on flipped wrists, you can have both hands forward in our classic cat-cow if you like, if that feels better for you. Inhale, drop the belly, look up. Exhale, curl the spine. Feel like you can reach the forehead down to the tip of the tailbone and then back behind you. So if we had a big fluffy dog tail, it could swim between the legs and touch our forehead and then swim behind us up overhead and touch the back of our head. So letting the head move a little bit more. Rotating those clavicles open. Again, noticing how the flip of the wrist really relates to the chest and to the throat. So the wrist is a little mirror of the clavicle. In the Katona practice, they say that the wrist is a mini clavicle. So that's a fun way to look at it in the body, that those are always in relation to one another, doing the same thing. So they'll move the same direction. We'll come back to a neutral spine, flip your fingers forward, and then walk your hands forward so that you can lower yourself all the way down onto the floor. Bring your legs so that they're right out from under the hips. The tops of the feet are pressing down into the earth. Really activate those legs there and then feel like the belly engages so that the tailbone can reach down between the legs. Lift the low abs just a little bit and bring the arms under the shoulders. So into our Sphinx position. So the lower body is on line here. Press the hands into the earth, pull the shoulders down, look forward. On your next exhale, curl chin to chest, and then let that curl keep going through the spine until you lift the back of the heart and lift the abs a little bit more. So you're really looking down to your belly button, and then roll back the way that you came, lifting the head last, looking out in front of you. Really notice what you're seeing as you trace this midline down, curl chin to chest, press into the elbows, and really let this come from the abs. So even though this is a simple motion. How can your whole body be really active here? So imagine that the pelvis is reaching away from the rib cage. That space in the midsection of the core is really long. The front ribs are active, knitting in as you curl, and then just pulling away from you. So instead of thinking that we're just coming into an arch, the sternum is dragging forward, the throat is opening up. Do that a couple more times, moving with your breath. Exhaling as you curl. Inhaling as you reach forward. Don't let the belly just sag down to the earth. It's dragging forward. It's still hugging into the spine. Tops of the feet still pressing down. And one more time like that. And then walk the hands back. Press yourself back to a child's pose. Bring the hands behind the head. Lift my head so that you guys can hear me a little bit more. Bring the hands behind the head and let the elbows drop down to the ground to start. We'll begin by twisting to the right. So keep the left elbow on the ground and just lift the right elbow off of the ground so that we can twist, bring the chin towards the armpit, look up, and then tap it right back down. Keep a long spine, keep the forehead off of the ground here. So the head is pressing back into the hands gently. Exhaling, twisting heavy in the hips, and then lowering back down. Feel like this pull is coming from the back, so the shoulder is dropping down to lift the elbow up. It's really reaching on a long diagonal, so the elbow's reaching away from the shoulder. And then lowering. One last time on this side, lifting up. And lowering back down, let's go the other direction. Tap the right elbow down, lift the left. And lower it back down. Nice long neck. The hands can kind of be tractioning the head away. So the head presses back into the hands and the hands pull the head long away from the pelvis. Are the abs still engaged? So pull the low abs in and up towards the spine. Nice, one more time like this, twisting and lowering. Bring the hands down to the ground, tuck the toes under, and roll over the feet so the knees come up, and let the head just fall down towards the knees. So the hands can be in front, helping you balance. Drape the spine over. So almost like we're in a child's pose, but the head has a little bit more room to fall now. So enjoy that sensation of the chin coming to the chest. Stretching the back of the neck open. Then heavy down into the heels, start to straighten the legs into your forward fold, hanging over, keep the knees bent and roll right back down. So we're gonna keep doing that, coming into our ball and then lengthening the hips back up. Forward fold and then squatting back down. And as you go, really bring your awareness into the neck, into the throat to notice what happens if you keep it really, really heavy. So as you roll over, the chin will come more to the chest. There's a lot of space there. So we often are holding it more than we think. So can you let the top of the head go? The head is really heavy, so let gravity work with that weight. And then as the hips come up, if you let it stay relaxed, the throat will naturally open up more as the torso moves away from it. So just kind of map that range of motion of the chin moving away from the chest and then coming closer to the chest. Track the knees over the toes, so don't let them fall out to the side. Let's do 3 more of those. Notice your breath.
Next time your legs are straight, stay there. Bring the hands behind the head, bend the knees a little bit more. Once again, give that traction into the neck. So instead of actively pulling, just add a little extra weight onto the back of the head to lengthen the upper spine. Bend into the knees even more, heavy down into the feet, and start to roll up through the spine. Initiate from the core, tuck the tailbone under, pull the abs in, knit those front ribs in, let the shoulders fall to the side till you stack the weight of the hips over the ankles, and then lift the head up. Exhale, let the hands fall down to the sides. So make sure that your feet are hip width distance, and then inhale, reach your hands up overhead. Grab the right wrist with the left hand and tip over to the side. Stretch the side body, heavy down into the right foot and the right hip. Turn the chin into the armpit, looking up. Feel like the left shoulder blade can wrap underneath and forward. So there's a little bit of a spiral in the chest. Even though it looks like we're just tipping to the side, how can we keep rotating upwards? And come back through center, switch the grip of the hand, tip over to the right. Try to keep the legs centered, so don't let the hips just sway out to the side. Focus more on the upper body. So we're coming into a candy cane shape instead of a big C curve. Wrap the nose upward. Pull the lower shoulder underneath the upper shoulder. And then lift through center. Lower the hands. Inhale, lift the hands back up. Exhale, lower the hands behind the head. You can interlace the fingers. Here, really check in with your alignment. So press the head back into the hands. Wrap the elbows forward to widen the upper back. And make sure that your weight of your hips is over your heels. So similar to what we did on the floor in our Sphinx pose, we're gonna lift the upper chest just a little bit, lifting the gaze up. But the head is totally relaxed. The head is lounging, the neck is lounging. The effort is in the rest of the body. So how can we press even more into the heels, lifting off the center point of our joints, tucking the tailbone, pulling the abs in, telescoping the ribs away from the pelvis. So imagine that the whole upper body is lifting off of the lower body, but the shoulders are still dropping down. So once we come into alignment there, the lift is really just over the scapula. So the scapula making little shelves for the heart so that the throat and the head can relax and open. Breathe deep, slow down the breath. Lift the elbows a little bit higher, pull the abs in a little bit more. Check that your knee creases are pointing back. So if you're engaging your glutes a lot, you might find a little external rotation in the legs. So feel the thighs wrap towards one another. And then gently lower the gaze back down. Release the arms. Nice. Let's do that one more time, but a little bit faster. So inhale, lift the arms up. Grab the right wrist with the left hand, tip over to the side. Exhale as you tip, look up towards the sky. Come back through center, switch hands, lift up, and then tip over, turn the gaze up. And look up. This time just drop the hands right to the back of the head. Lift the elbows, lift the vision, open the throat. Take one breath here, plant down into the feet a little bit more strongly, really rooting down to make the space in the throat, and then lift the head back to center, lower the hands. Let's bend right over, bring the hands down onto the ground, and walk forward till your knees can come down, untucking the toes. You can bring padding under the knees if you like. We're going to flow through a kind of camel sequence with a specific arm variation. All right, so first starting with the arms. Let's inhale, bring them out to the side. Exhale, bring the hands forward. Let the chin fall to the chest. Let the pelvis tilt and the heart roll back. So I'm just kind of curling around, but reaching the fingers in opposition. Inhale, open the arms wide, maybe letting them come back further than the shoulders, just a little bit, as far as you can go with keeping the shoulders down, and lift the head. Exhale, wrap the hands all the way to the front. Really let the chin fall, and then open them out. We'll add the legs into this. So exhale, curl back, maybe feeling a little bit more hook at the back of the ribs to add some more ab action so that our weight comes back. And then lift everything up, lift the hips up this time so the hips come over the knees, lift the heart. Exhale, sit the hips down, slow and smooth. Curl those ribs back, tuck the tailbone. And then lift up, drop the shoulders down, active through the fingers, soft through the throat. Keep going like that a couple times. So when we lift, we're feeling that tailbone anchoring down and the spine is coming into our camel position, but with the arms wide, so we're flying open a bit more. And what is your neck doing? Is the neck soft? Really going to its limits of mobility, so letting go a little bit more so the back of the neck can stretch open and the throat can open up by softening the jaw as you look up too. One more time like that, holding back and lifting up. Use the glutes to help you lift and then soften back onto the heels, lower the hands. All right. Just checking on time here. Okay, we have enough time for this. Let's roll onto our back. So center yourself in your space. Bring the feet down onto the floor. Bring the hands down by your sides. You can pull the heels pretty close to you and keep the knees hip width distance here. Spread the toes, press them down into the earth. Keeping the pelvis down to start, let's press into the feet, curl the abs, tuck the tailbone, tilt the pelvis towards the top of the body. And then pull the sit bones down towards the heels and let the spine rock the other direction. So exhale as you tilt, pressing the back into the earth. And then inhale as you let it lift and pull the sit bones away from you. And what I want you to specifically notice here is how the rest of the spine moves. So how the head responds, how the throat responds to the movement of the chest coming from that motor of our low core and legs. So if everything else is relaxed, this channel of energy will come up and make its own response. So letting the chin kind of fall to the chest as the sit bones pull down because the back of the neck is getting longer. And then as you press into the heels and the abs curl, the chin lifts more towards the ceiling and the gaze can look up. Good. Next time you press into the feet, feel the curl of the tailbone, press even more down so you can lift the pelvis off the ground coming into your bridge. Let's roll up and down a couple times, massaging out the back. Lifting the hips and lowering back down, feeling the weight slide into the shoulders. The neck is soft and the chin and nose are pointing up. So we aren't turning the head side to side to protect the neck. So it's really staying in place here. Next time you lift the hips up, stay there. You can press the hands into the ground or you can clasp the hands underneath you and roll the shoulders under the heart so that you can lift the chest a little bit higher, but still feel like you're tucking the tailbone under. So we're really, really engaging the glutes and the hamstrings to lift the hips. Soften the throat as the clavicles and the sternum fold towards the face. Keep lifting the hips, pull the abs down. Can you tuck the tailbone a little bit more? And then release the hands if they're clasped and roll back down through the spine. Take your time, go really slow. Once the weight of the pelvis comes down onto the floor, pull the knees into the chest and rock side to side. Lift the legs up into the sky, so it's like you're standing on the ceiling. Bring your hands to the right thigh, behind the thigh, and lower the left leg so the heel is hovering off the ground. And then we're gonna switch, grab the right thigh, lower the right heel. Scissoring the legs back and forth. Exhale as you change, and change. So bring the leg as close to you as you like, depending on how your hamstrings are feeling. You can grab a little bit higher onto the lower leg, onto the calf if you like. And as you go, really pull the abs down and feel like the tailbone is still reaching away from you. So the legs are getting longer. The top of the head is getting longer. And we're knitting those front ribs in. The sternum is soft. The shoulders are soft down to the ground. Try to keep the legs straight so you can feel that line of energy shooting through. And can you make it from the abs? Make the movement from the abs more than the legs. Yes, the legs are going to help. That's how we work anatomically. But imagine there's a little pulley right in your core that's lifting up the leg from our powerhouse instead of just the hip flexors and the thighs. All right, keep going just a couple more times. Exhale, change. Exhale, change. 3, 2, 1. Pull the knees back into the chest. Relax everything. Breathe into the belly. Now, if that bridge felt comfortable, you can come back to it. Or if plow is in your practice, you can do that instead. So now that we've warmed up the abs just a little bit, if you want to come to plow, lift the legs up to the sky. Use your core to pull your feet behind you. Press the hands down into the earth. You can bring your hands to your back to support you or let them stay down on the ground. It's a really nice offering to kind of let a little bit of the weight come into the hands as the elbows squeeze towards one another. Can you soften your throat even more here? You can stay right here, having the toes pulling down to the ground, or start to lift one leg up to the sky. Slowly lower it back down next to its partner. And lift the opposite. Reaching through the heel and lowering. Taking that one more time if you're with me. And slowly roll down. Let the feet drag behind you, thighs coming towards the face. The hands can help the pelvis, and then the abs do a little bit of work to get that pelvis all the way down. Plant the feet into the ground. If you're in your bridge, roll down as well. We'll all widen the feet as wide as the mat and knock the knees together. Just landing in your active rest to neutral out the spine. You can stay right here with the hands on the body, out to the side, or even crossed over. Crossing over can make a little bit more of a hug towards that chakra, towards the throat, which can be a good support, a shape of comfort. Or if you like, you can come down into your full Shavasana and extend the legs long. Wherever you are, just settle down into the floor, give your weight into the floor. And turn your attention to what you can hear.
starting with what's close by. That might even just be your own breath. You might notice if there's things moving around you that make noise, or it might be pretty silent. But even silence has its own qualities. So what can you notice about that? And then start to expand that awareness a little bit further away from you. So if there's anything else in the room or outside of your room, maybe in a different room of a house that you're in, or outside and out the window. Just start to take in that information. Notice what you can hear the furthest away from you. So try to identify something that is not close by. So it might be really faint. And then draw it closer to you. Notice what the closest thing is that you can hear. Or what you perceive to be close and far. Begin to make your way onto your side. So coming up from this reclined position, take your time. But as you're ready, come up into a seat. And bring your hands back to your throat. You can come to that same position with the fingers wrapping around the ears and the wrists in the clavicles, or any other position that you'd like that helps you kind of check in with that area. Breathe into the jaw, just soften it. Let this area fold inward as the chin comes more to the chest, bowing the head to the heart. Thank yourself for your practice today, for listening to yourself and listening around you as we open up this channel of communication in our throat and our neck. And thank you so much for coming along with me in this practice today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Thank you.